This is 5/9/2020, the 1 p.m. vintage challenge. Am I registered for this vintage challenge? I probably fucked up. Hold on. I gotta make sure I'm registered. I'm not registered. That was close. All right. Whoa. All right. Well, now we are registered with 1 minute to go for this vintage challenge. Jesus Christ. I wanted to start this one a little bit differently. I just wanted to do like a quick week synopsis and then jump into whatever we're doing, right? So last week we saw the continuation of the rise of Lurrus, something like 16 Lurrus decks in the top 8s. What we saw was a huge metagame percentage of Lurrus Paradoxical Outcome, boasting a really high win percentage of something like 60%. We saw a small metagame percentage of Lurrus Breach, also boasting a metagame percentage, a metagame win rate of 60%, and then a smattering of fair Lurrus decks between Lurrus Lavinia, Lurrus Deathrite Shaman, and some Sprite Dragon action. Lurrus Breach quietly won both Japanese and English paper webcam tournaments, kind of just crushed those. And in my opinion, I think the Lurrus Breach deck is much more adaptable, much more able to beat hate, can play a combo control game than something like Lurrus Paradoxical. And in my opinion, if you were trying to win this challenge, the thing you should do is sleeve up Lurrus Breach. Now, sometimes I'm trying to win the challenge and sometimes I'm not. I really don't enjoy playing Lurrus Breach very much. It's very good, it's very powerful, and I don't mind it too much. And if I wanted to win, I probably would still play it, but I just haven't had as much fun playing that deck as I have had playing other decks. So I put a poll out to my Twitter and my subs Discord on what of the brews they wanted to see, or if they would rather just see a Lurrus Paradoxical deck. And they have chosen one of the brews. And so the brew we are playing today is based on a legacy deck that a very dedicated pilot in legacy is continuing to put up medium results with at legacy. The idea for me, the way I made it in vintage, is I wanted to play Force of Will, so I had to up my blue count. And so what we're doing is we're playing a fair bug Green Sun Zenith deck. You know, typical Deathrite Shaman, Leovold, Oko, Green Sun Zenith deck. And then we're adding in Dryad Arbor and focusing on a natural order package. And the reason we're focusing on a natural order package is because the fair Lurrus decks can't beat a Progenitus. And they're not fast enough to race a Progenitus. And the unfair Lurrus decks have a very hard time beating Archon of Valor's Reach on instant. It's very hard to remove once you're on instant, and then it's very hard to combo off once you can't cast instants as well. Archon of Valor's Reach is also a pretty castable card in a format with Black Lotus. So I've had some decent success in leagues. I have a lot of problems when I face decks that don't run Lurrus. This is a very targeted deck, and then even when I do face the Lurrus decks, like sometimes the Breach deck or the PO deck has just such busted draws that no matter what you do, you're just gonna die anyways. So probably not the best brew, but a brew that I've had some fun with recently, and I kind of wanted to show off a little bit. You'll notice that instead of Assassin's Trophy, which was the typical green-black removal spell in vintage, we've opted for Abrupt Decay. The reason is Bazaar is less prevalent and Uncounterable is a much more important line, as well as costing 3 or less not really being a huge downside in a world where your majority of your opponents are going to be playing Lurrus. And then we're up on like 3 Okos, which is a lot of Okos, but the reason for that is I need to make more green creatures. So Oko is kind of continuous green creatures for natural order, as well as being a blue card to pitch to Force of Will, as well as being turn off your Bob, turn off your Lavinia, turn off your Lurrus, that kind of stuff. So that is a consideration, is that this deck might just be a bad Oath deck, and you could just be oathing into these creatures, and that's probably fair, and I just haven't gotten to that yet. You don't really want to play Grizzlebrand right now because of the prevalence of Karakas. You don't really want to play legendary creatures off your oaths. 16 Lurrus is in the combined 2 top 8s. So we have Karate Dumb. A classic. So I wonder if Karate will be on Eldrazi. We shouldn't be able to beat a Progenitus. All right, so this is round 1 of the Vintage Challenge. We are playing Bug Natural Order. Let's do it. I do think that Oko is quite good against these fair Lurrus decks. Okay, he's on Lurrus. Okay, this is an interesting hand to keep. I kind of think so. We have 2 options, obviously. We have play Deathrite, pass, and we have Time Walk into Oko. You could turn the Mox into an elk, or you could just make a food. But Oko probably draws a Force of Will, which is a pretty big game, I think. So I kind of like that idea. Also, we get to see another card. I'm not exactly sure my mana base is correct. Something we'll have to keep an eye on throughout the day. I didn't really know exactly how I wanted to build my mana base. I'm not playing Gush, and I have like a Bayou, because I have like a Dryad Arbor. But I'm not 100% sure on it, how correct that is. That's an interesting card too. That is an interesting card too. I think I would still rather just deploy the Oko, make opponent force if they have it. If not, they're kind of on the back foot, unless they're playing Lurrus Breach, in which case I am on the back foot. But I should still have a turn to brainstorm with a fetch land and start to find some interaction as my Oko clocks them, theoretically anyways. So I think I'm down for the turn 1 Oko life. Alright, so we drew the Force of Will, pitching a Cruise. Now, a Cruise doesn't really tell us anything. It doesn't tell if it's a fair Lurrus deck or an unfair Lurrus deck, and that's kind of how I've been categorizing them. I think you can, at a high level, group your Breaches and your PO Lurrus decks together as combo Lurrus or unfair Lurrus. Then you can kind of put your, like, Jeskai, Bug, Esper, those decks together as your fair Lurrus decks. And even amongst those classifications, I think there's like a pretty serious difference in how the Breach deck plays out compared to the PO deck. So there's a lot going on. So my opponent has used a Bauble and played a turn 1 Merchant Scroll for a Ancestral. Normally, I don't really want to force that, but we probably will, just because our opponent's on such a low amount of cards. I do think I want to try to resolve a Brainstorm first, though. We might not hit a blue card here. It's definitely something that's possible, but I think it's worth attempting. All right, we didn't hit a blue card. So what do we want to do with our lives? We'll definitely put away this Force of Will, and probably the extra Abrupt Decay. We'll play out the Deathrite Shaman and Green Sun for another Deathrite Shaman. That doesn't seem like a great idea. We could put back Force and Abrupt Decay and Green Sun for a Collector Oof, but we're not exactly sure which version of Lurrus they're on. If they're on something like Esper, Bob's not the greatest play. There's always Scavenging Ooze as well, but it's not really a great play right now. I don't really think we want to like Abrupt Decay the Jet or anything. I think we'd rather save Abrupt Decay for Lurrus. So I'm kind of on... I kind of wish we could get a Leovold. That's what I kind of wish we could get. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play out Misty, and I'm going to play out Deathrite, and hold this Green Sun for a Leovold. And then it's unlikely we'll be Abrupt Decaying this turn, because opponent's probably going to Ancestral overplay something like play Cat. But can't really do too much about the Ancestral, seeing as we pitched away our blue card for Force. Now, it might not even... well, now we're probably not getting Leovold because they hit Caracas. And it's kind of bad to Abrupt Decay this Dark Confidant when they have a Lurrus. So it looks like they're playing fair Lurrus, Esper Bob style. But what we could do is we could Green Sun Zenith for a Scavenging Ooze and eat the Bob. We could even draw... We could even draw the second Abrupt Decay off the top if it's something we wanted to do. We don't have that many options on our Green Sun Zenith, just the way the deck was built. I thought about adding something like a Tireless Tracker, but I would really want to cut like an Oko, and I didn't want to compromise the blue count too much. So if this resolves and we draw Abrupt Decay and Green Sun... Maybe we just Green Sun for a Tarmogoyf. That way we have 2 Abrupt Decays. If they play that alert... I mean, it's going to be really hard for us to kill a Lurrus with them having a Karakas in play, right? I guess Leovold is still pretty good against Karakas. So maybe we should just Abrupt Decay this and play a Leovold. I guess I can always eat this with my Deathray Shaman. I don't know why I am like... I'm tunneling a little bit. I can just eat it with my Deathray Shaman as well. I don't really know if we need a Scavenging Ooze per se. Like obviously this can't eat artifacts, but it can eat everything else. I guess the real question is like, are we drawing our second Abrupt Decay? Is that something that we want to be doing? Seems like it might be not very good with a Karakas if opponent plays around it correctly, so I don't really think so. I think we should just draw a fresh card. What kind of land do I want? I guess we want a Tropical Island. And we'll Abrupt Decay this Confidant. So we could always just grab a Scavenging Ooze here. We have an Oof as well. That's interesting, actually. Because the Oof can really slow them down. Maybe we want to just... I mean, we could just, like, get an Ooze right now. For sure. And maybe that's worthwhile. If I do this... I kind of want to use this because I want to be able to activate it whenever I want. And then we can still follow up. I don't know. It just seems better than a Leovold, to be honest, versus Karakas. But I don't know if it seems better than like playing Oof right here and just eating a Bob. What if we just get like 2 death rates going? I guess death rate doesn't stop the bobble is the problem, right? But I guess Collector Oof stops the bobble. This is why I don't play fair decks. There's too much thinking. There's a lot that goes into these like very small decisions. I don't have a bit large enough brain to play the fair decks. I guess what we really should be worried about is like dead weight, right? Is that really something we should be worried about? I don't know. All right, I'm gonna go with Ooze and see how it goes. Nah, we'll just use all of our clock now and then rush at the end. It's more fun that way. I just don't want them to be able to delve, so I don't want to. I guess I can always respond to the dead weight, so maybe I don't have to do that one right away. They have a Swords to Plowshares as their other card. Okay. I'm gonna eat the Ancestral because I have an Oof to deal with the Bobble, I think. And now this might come back to bite me. But I don't really think it should. I guess I don't need to deal with the Ancestral because I have a Deathrite Shaman. I should just get the... I should just eat the Bobble. That was wrong. I have a Deathrite Shaman. I keep forgetting I have a Deathrite Shaman. Yeah. That was bad. Though I guess opponent just jammed their Lurrus without any care in the world. I can't believe they would do that, but they did it. I can't imagine that it's correct to just, like, not wait for your Karakas. But... I don't know how we're ever gonna win this game, so it doesn't really matter, right? Man, I really screwed up in not just eating that bobble. There was really no reason for me to get that greedy, and I knew it right away. If this baits a Force of Will, it didn't bait a Force of Will. Ah, play so bad. I do get to get like a big old Tarmogoyf now. Unless they force it. They do force it. Should I have sequenced it differently? If I sequence, I still get my green sensing countered likely. I guess it comes down to they have another swords. I guess they also have a Bob. Alright. Well, I guess what we really want to see is just natural order here. Not Force of Will. The opposite of Force of Will, actually. I guess I fucked up. I should have ate on my turn. Should have ate on my turn. I don't play this. Now they can have a Snapcaster Mage. Should have ate on my turn. What I'm trying to do. Maybe I should just wait for the Mystic Sanctuary trigger. Now they're gonna put a scroll on top. They're gonna put a Force on top. I guess that's fine. I'm okay with that, I guess. Well, I guess I'm not okay with that. I should just wait for the Sanctuary trigger. I was like, I'm playing so poorly. Nice, awesome. I was like focusing on the fact that they could now resolve like a Snapcaster or something, but that was really dumb of me, and I should have just waited for the Sanctuary trigger. Hopefully we draw a natural order right now. Oh, I drew a jet. Of course I drew a jet. I only have 4 artifacts in my deck, but we drew a jet. Alright, I don't think I can win this game now. I misplayed really badly in this game. I don't really think it mattered that I misplayed really badly, but they did take 5, but they're gaining 2 life every turn, so they just drew a natural deadweight off the top. All right. I mean, it's just kind of the difference between someone who resolves Ancestral and someone who doesn't, which is kind of like been tilting me off recently. Just Esper fair cards. Like, I don't even like Collector Oof in this matchup very much. I don't even like Chalice in this matchup very much. They don't actually have like a lot of zeros. They have a lot of ones, but we're not really the best Chalice on one deck. What I really want to do is just like bring in some Flusterstorms and some Veils and try to natural order my opponent. Like, I don't even actually think Collector Oof is good, and like they don't really need a. I guess they're probably a Wasteland deck, so I should probably keep Island in. But I've never been a huge fan of the Island either. I don't even really want the Island. Like normally in your fair matchup, you would want to like board out Force of Will, but we're not really trying to play this matchup like a fair matchup. So, sub 90s. Yeah, like I think I had some of the correct ideas, but I think I like sequenced incredibly poorly. But that's how it is, I guess. Yeah, that's kind of a non-functional hand. That one works. We just bottom the Force and just go with Oko Fluster. I guess I kind of am sad. I should have fetched an Underground Sea and used my Emerald to pay for the Oko, but then I'm not playing around. I guess I'm never playing around Mindbreak Trap because I have to counter this here. I don't have a black source if I do it this way is my biggest problem. But I can't actually just kill an Oko, which is good for the home team. I guess the question is, do we want the Dryad Arbor? And I think the answer to that is no. Even if we don't hit a land next turn, we can still get a Deathrite Shaman, which sounds better to me. And then if we hit a land, we could get a Scavenging Ooze or a Tarmogoyf or something. Hey, how's it going? Just me playing Fair Decks poorly over here. Nice. So I'm just gonna stand up this food. Attack. I could play around Days as well. I guess that's another consideration. Does Justin play around Days? If I don't play around Days, what do I get? Collector Roof? No, I boarded that out. It would just be Tarmogoyf on instant land sorcery 4. Probably should just be a Deathrite Shaman, right? I mean, maybe I'm just getting Flusterstormed here or something, but I feel like it should just be a Deathrite Shaman. I think that makes the most sense. It will allow us to like cast a natural, or am I just getting Swords to Plowshare? Is that what's happening here? It would like allow us to, oh, they're gonna Swords my food. Interesting. It would allow us to cast like, I guess maybe that means they have a dead weight. It would like let us cast a natural order if we were to draw it. Lets us interact with opponent's graveyard. Are we just getting Lurrus here? Lurrus, replay, pedal, deadweight my Deathrite Shaman, maybe? No? So I can just turn this Lurrus into an elk, or I can just steal this Lurrus. I don't have a food currently to give, but I could just give him an emerald. And I get a Black Lotus. I don't really know why I wouldn't do that. The only reason I wouldn't do that, I guess, is if opponent has their one of Caracas. 66 players. Just over the limit. The only reason I wouldn't want to steal is if opponent has Caracas. But I could always just turn it into an elk. I don't know. Might not be think. If we assuming our opponent knows how Oko can ultimate, I feel like they would not jam Lurrus. It's the safest line is to just turn this Lurrus into an elk. Doesn't really advance us, but doesn't really hurt us very much either. Like, it's pretty much impossible to kill an Oko. Opponent can just replay their Urs if we steal it. I feel like it's just too high risk to... I feel like it's just too high of a risk. I guess like the biggest upside to stealing is we get to replay our Oko, sorry, our Lotus, but we don't even have anything to use our Lotus on right now, so it doesn't really seem like a worthwhile investment. This way, if opponent has Krakus, they can still return their Lurrus, but it's much better for us. Doesn't look like they had Caracas. It's a really interesting play then. And no attack either? I don't really understand. I guess maybe they have a dig through time. I guess I'm gonna try to eat anyways. No dig through time. All right, I don't really know what's happening then. Scroll? Scroll's insane. I'm gonna get. I want dig through time. No, I just still want ancestral. Definitely not ancestraling on my turn or anything like that. But I do think I want to just ancestral on their upkeep. I do think I want to be able to have death right up. I can fix that. Sorry. I do all things at a medium level. I put the deck into Cardboard Live. Then I don't update it. You should be good now. I'm gonna cast Ancestral. Just resolve. So I can pay for Fluster there and Spell Pierce. And then if they have like a Force of Negation, then they have to use mana on their turn. Are the ideas behind it. I might have wanted to board out Strip Mine. Opponent's not really a deck where I actually need a Strip Mine. I still see. I can't believe opponent would just play out Lurrus. Very odd to me. But they are kind of a that's true. It does answer Caracas. I don't know if like. I just don't know how much it matters, I guess, is my question. And maybe it matters a lot, seeing as we've been talking about it a lot. But I do have 6 minutes on my clock, so that's always good. Reanimate. Alright, so we're just gonna... I'm not gonna play this Dryad Arbor. I'm just going to keep eating with Deathrite Shaman. I guess I want to gain control of this now. That will at least let me threaten for lethal next turn. I have to play a lot faster than I currently am playing. This would be game 2 and I lost game 1. I think it's fine. 6 minutes is more than enough time. I was just like, I had a bunch of fork tree. I had a fork tree of options in game 1 and I couldn't really decide on which way to go. Because I just don't have enough practice playing these fair decks. Ended up choosing the wrong decision too, which was kind of gross. But we're learning. That's what matters. So I guess we might want to just keep this in for Krakus. That's a valid point. I really think I shouldn't be boarding out this island because opponent is on a Wasteland deck, but our island is not really our top priority. I think the list is okay. I think it combats these fair Lurrus decks pretty well. And that's kind of about it. I don't know. Island just actually doesn't seem very good against my opponent. Like, I get to cast my cantrip, so I don't get to cast my death rights. I mean, I also don't know about this like boarding out of a Deathrite Shaman. It could be that we're just supposed to board out all of our Force of Wills, but it kind of defeats like the natural order idea. But maybe we don't just like go to one Force of Will, play Deathrite, play Island, and just play a controlling kind of game. Or like trim Force of Wills. Like we are bringing in double Veil, double Fluster to try to push our natural order through at a higher rate than 2-for-1ing ourselves with Force of Will. And maybe that makes it better. I don't know if that actually makes it better, but... Or maybe like we're just on like the classic Brian Kelly 3 Force of Wills because we don't really want 4. It might not be a bad idea either. We do a couple things. What about now? Like a fair Lurrus deck can't be a natural order Progenitus. And then a fair Lurrus deck has a non-red fair Lurrus deck has a problem with Oko. So like it does a couple different ways. It combats fair Lurrus in a couple different ways. Like when your opponent can't Pyroblast Oko, it really just takes over the board. Let's try something like this. I don't know if this is correct, but this is what we're gonna go with. I have to play fast though. 6 minutes on the clock. Like I think this hand is fine. Sure, you're allowed to have a question. What the fuck? So if you were here for the beginning, all right, I guess like an F6. Man, I hate probe. If you're here for the beginning of the stream, oh my god. Combo Lurrus has a really hard time playing against Archon on instant. Jesus Christ, that's a draw and a half. I really hope that we can force a natural order through without opponent having a counter spell. Kind of what we want. I really we need to dodge a dead weight here, I guess. I guess we could just not play the Deathrite. We could play the Tarmogoyf as a 3/4. Yeah, it's kind of a deck meant to combat. It is a deck meant to combat Lurrus. I think it has pretty good game against Lurrus, but doesn't really have good game against the rest of the field. So if I don't play my Deathrite Shaman, I have no options on natural ordering on turn 2, especially if I draw Force back up. But I feel like playing Deathrite is like pretty medium. I don't really think I'm gonna. I guess I really shouldn't have done this line, because now I'm susceptible to Wasteland. I hate the line I took. I should have gone with Deathrite Hold Up Fetch. I should have gone with Deathrite Hold Up Fetch. And I'm probably gonna pay the price for it when I get Wastelanded here. Didn't get Wastelanded. They do have double bobs now though. Oh, they have Brainstorm Fetch as well. Alright, well I don't really know how we're winning this game. Opponent basically had the Stone Cold Nut draw for the Dark Confidant Bob deck, so. I spent 5 minutes in the start talking, and then I spent about the meta, and then I spent time talking about my decision trees. And then I ended up 15 minutes down on clock. This is just a Stone Cold Nuts hand though, right? All it needs is an Ancestral. Are they gonna dig through time here? Holy shit, that's insane. Why not oh my lord, opponent. Mercy. So we still have the backdoor natural order here. If we can draw a blue card for Force. We didn't draw a blue card for Force, so all my lines are better, I guess. They know we have natural order, so they probably are just trying to figure out how to get counter spells. They can't really attack into here, because then they just attack back with a Lurrus and lifelink, so. Oh, if they hit the dead weight for the Deathrite Shaman. Deathrite Shaman down. Big Tarmogoyf. Small Tarmogoyf. Hardcast Force of Will. Alright, so what I'm looking for here is we just want to top deck that blue card and try to jam. Maybe we don't want to jam into the days. We drew another natural order. It's not exactly what we're looking for, especially seeing as I I actually fetched Tropical Island, right? I just have drawn all of my non-green sources. Okay, cool. All right, can't even natural order anyways. It doesn't actually matter. Never mind. Reanimate. That's not good for us. They're gonna reanimate my Deathrite Shaman. And scroll for an Ancestral. Bless. All right, well, we died. It was fun, chat. Had a good time with you. Ancestral is such a busted Magic card. This is kind of the deck we're supposed to be. I mean, we're better against the bugged list, but oh, now I can't do anything. Great. Yeah, guys, the cat was so good. The cat was unbeatable. Wait. The cat really didn't do anything. Hold on. It's just not that big a deal. People like highly overrate how good that was for them. But all right, now we're 100% dead. Until they find their Swords to Plowshares. Oh my god, it just got double dead weighted. Whatever. We can't draw anything. Yep. It's okay. We did not draw powerful cards. We drew medium cards. I kept a medium hand, which maybe that's. Oh, they took 8 from dig through time. Sick deck building. Sick deck building. I killed the Tarmogoyf. Whatever. No. They'll gain up to 9 and they can't die from there, so it doesn't really matter. The next round's not starting yet, so we'll just play. It's okay. These draws were not going to facilitate us winning the game. And maybe that's a product of me keeping a hand that maybe wasn't strong enough. We are in the London mulligan era. I should maybe be more aggressively mulliganing. But when your opponent has just the straight nuts, kind of hard. Down to 4. All right, I guess. Maybe we should have just mulliganed. Probably should have just mulliganed that hand, I guess. Interesting. How much time do we have?